Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Big League Breakdowns. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the New York Yankees. My name is Tyler. Joining me, as always, Will, John, and our producer, Bobby, as we talk about the red hot Yankees, the Juan
America's team.
Soto-less America's team,
Yeah.
How
right
about that
there.
one?
Juan Soto-less Yankees, who may be a good thing. Who knows? I don't know. Aaron Judge is still there and
Oh.
absolutely smacking baseballs around. And we are going to talk about the
He's doing what with
Yankees.
his balls?
Okay, we can't even get through a minute without you making a Schneiden remark. It's
Eh,
unbelievable. Um,
you're
but
making me talk about the Yankees. This is
usually when we talk about the Yankees, it's in negative light in some way, or so the fans of the Yankees think in our comment section. But today, I do have some stats on the Yankees that has been really positive and led them to one of the best records in baseball. So let's get into it. Starting with the Yankees, 9-1 in the last 10 and 17-7 in May. They had the best run differential in baseball at 113. Well, we had a lot of questions about this team because of, you know, as my dog runs away. If anybody's seen
Sorry.
that,
he
enough.
doesn't want
Even
to talk
he
about the
wants to.
Yankees.
Yeah,
Exactly.
he's over it.
I've
He
had
gets
enough
it.
of this.
Will, I think me and you were maybe the harshest on the Yankees, or at least I remember like our expectations of them. Garrett Cole going down, we had big concerns about the rotation, but the rotation's been really good. I had concerns definitely about the depth outside of Judge, but
You
they've
know, I think
managed
that's I think
to do
you
it.
know what's funny about that? I'm the Orioles fan. And I was not the harshest on the Yankees.
I
Yeah.
don't think I was the harshest in the end, but
I don't I
I
definitely
had him with 85 wins in my
I
prediction.
yeah, I think I had them finishing fourth in the division, and that has not happened so far, and it doesn't look like it's going to. But yeah, like again, well, what has led them to where they're at this point?
Team spirit. Honestly, that's truth is that kind of is the situation. I mean, Judge has been on another planet, and of course, he is the big reason that they're doing anything good for as long as they have because they were very iffy, it seemed like at times throughout April. But in the month of May, they are getting contributions from everyone. Max Fried started off the season amazing. He continues to do amazing, but now you have Carlos Rodon, who's doing really well. Luke Weaver is the closer that they've always had and never knew that they had until Devin Williams decided to crap the bed. And offensively, Paul Goldschmidt is continuing his hot start, and now he's knocking in runs to go along with the average. Um, Ben Rice has good power numbers. So, like, they're getting contributions from everyone, and the pitching has really stepped up this month, and that's why they've taken that next level. I'm still going to stick with my thing about I still feel like Judge is the key to it all. And that was the only reason I predicted them to have as low wins as I did when the season started was about whether or not I thought Judge would stay healthy for the whole season. But if Judge can stay healthy, regardless if he keeps this historic pace up, then he will definitely be the it factor to get them into the postseason.
Yeah, we can glamour about Judge, because there's a lot to glamour about, but they are getting contributions. I feel like I might have said this on a previous episode, but I did got a kick out of my uncle is a Cardinals fan, and he's just like, of course, like this guy, he leaves the Cardinals, now he has a career year, um, with the Yankees, but uh, he was kind of a question mark because they were, of course, if Soto wasn't going to work out, were they going to get Christian Walker? Were they going to get Alonso? Like, there was all this stuff. They settled on Goldschmidt, which I think at that point in time, you were like, I don't know about that signing. Like, how does it work? But he's been their second best player on offense. One of the things I mentioned about this team is they're basically leading the MLB in almost all the offensive categories. They lead the MLB in home runs, on base percentage, slugging, OPS, walk percentage, WRC plus. They're doing this all without Jazz Chisholm has been injured for a bit, and one of their best hitters in the postseason last year, Stanton hasn't even played a game for them this year. So, John, with that prospect in mind, it almost feels like the Yankees could even be better offensively, which is kind of hard to imagine.
I mean, they could be better, but they could also be worse. If Judge gets hurt, you know, then this could all go away. That's something to keep in mind that this guy has 18 home runs, has a batting average of 391 and an on-base percentage of 488, and his slugging percentage is 739. It's ridiculous. Like he is on pace for probably the best season in the history of baseball if he stays healthy. If he doesn't stay healthy, this, can go down the crapper real quick for the Yankees, at least offensively, because their next closest guy as far as home runs is concerned is Trent Grisham, who is batting 255 with um excuse me, five 352 on base percentage. Like that's
He's
good, but
doing
it's
pretty
not.
damn good considering what he was last year for them, which was
I
garbage
was
and a half.
That's what I'm saying is that's good, but that's not Judge level good. So again, this guy is the key to everything.
I mean, their offensive stats and their leading in categories across the MLB is definitely driven mostly by Aaron Judge. But yeah, I mean, Trent Grisham has had a nice start to the season, which they kind of needed out of a guy like him. With the uncertainty of the outfield after the Soto departure, and he's been good for them. At least in the power category, Ben Rice has had a nice season. Bellinger has kind of been back and forth, but is is it surpri is it surprising that their numbers are as good as they are? Again, you can take Judge and that's maybe like 50% or he's most of the reason that they're where they're at, but are you surprised just because again, for me, I'm still a little surprised like after they lost Soto, I wasn't really that keen on their depth, but they're getting it done.
I guess the thing I'm surprised about, if anything, is probably how effective the pitching has been as a whole. Granted, again, a lot of their success I still feel like comes down to how hot they've been in the month of May. And the reason some of these averages still look rather mid when you look at the totals right now is because a lot of players had not so great numbers in April, and then they've had some great numbers in May, and things are balancing out right now to like a 240s, 250 range. Um, but I think it's the pitching, I think, is the biggest thing that's surprising me because if anything, it's because Devin Williams was looked like a key thing, and he's not at all been a good thing for them. And when they lost Garrett Cole, it looked like that their starting pitching depth was going to be gone. That after Max Fried, if Fried stayed healthy, it was just going to be a bunch of wild card um, people. But instead, right now, because of how everyone's done in the month of May, they've been one of the best, it feels like, and it still feels kind of surprising because in their starting pitching ERAs for the month of May, um, of their starters, the worst ERA is Clark Schmidt with a 3.14 ERA in the month. That's if that's your worst pitcher, that's insane.
Yeah, I want to touch on Freed again because he has been arguably one of the best pitchers in the league, and he, uh,
This is
you know,
absurd, Ty. This is absurd.
this is
His
absurd.
his ERA is absurd.
Oh yeah, I mean, dude, it's at a 1.29, which is 16 points better than second place. Like that's insane. He hasn't. I mean, I'm one of the first haters of the win-loss total in baseball. You look at Paul Skeens, the guy's the best pitcher in baseball, but he's like 4-5. But
Not better
Matt,
than Max Fried.
but Max Fried is 7-0. Like they're winning games when he's on the mound. And I don't think it's really debatable. Like in an offseason where you had so many big free agents, you had Juan Soto, you had Corbin Burns, you had Alonso, Sasaki coming over Snell. I would say that he has been the biggest impact offseason signing at this point in time. Um, of course, obviously, as the years go on, that could change. But I'm saying, in terms of his instant impact to the team and how good he's been for them, like he has been their ace. When they really needed it after the Cole injury, I think he's really been one of the best signings so far. Uh, and at the time, I think I even hated on that signing a little bit because it was like, all right, well, you have pitching. This was, of course, before Cole got hurt, but you need to add bats. Like that's where you're lacking, and they proved me wrong. So, he's been awesome to see. But like I talked about how good they were offensively. Like their team pitching staff as a whole, fourth in team ERA, first in opponent batting average. They're tied first in WHIP. As you mentioned, Will, their other parts of their rotation has been good as well. Carlos Rodon's been really good this year. He's got a 2.6 ERA, and is third in the MLB in strikeouts. So it's not just the top end guys. They're getting production from everywhere. Um, and as you said too, like you were talking about May, but for the season as a whole, Schmidt and Warren are hovering around a 4 ERA, which is not bad for your fourth and fifth guys, with the innings they're giving them. So it is a strong team right now. John, how scary is this team like for you? Because they kind of have everything going on. Do you see them keeping it up? Like, do they continue to be this monster that they are right now?
Do I think they can keep it up? I think that all depends on one man. Do I think that they scare me outside of Goldschmidt and Judge? I mean, the reality is that these guys can hit, and Fried can pitch. He's pitching his. It, look, Max Fried might be having the best season that he probably has ever had, and I am curious how that will continue in into the dog days of summer. It really depends on how their captain does for the rest of the season. If he gets hurt, and I continue to say this, if he gets hurt, they might be in trouble because he's leading MLB in WAR, offensive WAR, batting
Ooh,
average,
war.
on base percentage, slugging percentage, on base percentage, or on base plus slugging. Excuse me. Like almost every offensive category, he is literally leading. This is absurd. This is absolutely ridiculous. Like these are going to be career years for Fried, for Judge, and that for Judge. That's saying something. For Fried, that is also saying something. But at the same time, he's also really been consistent. So it's I would say he comes as a shock, but as a long-winded answer, I don't think that they can keep this up the entire season. It's May. They are off to a hot start. They're playing out of they're slugging out of their minds right now. When they eventually hit that slump and hit the skids of losing four in a row or losing five in a row, what do you do then? Do you hit the panic button then? Is my question.
Yeah, and well, I'll ask you the same question with this as well. They have had injuries where they are going to eventually get reinforcements. As I said, Stanton actually traveled with the team this week to Tampa. Or excuse me, he just traveled to Tampa, and he's taking live at bats at this point. Heel will be back in June, July potentially. It looks like Chisholm is potentially on his way back as well. So with some of their better players coming back, already having the season that they're having, does that kind of scare you? Because to me, it's like they get these guys coming back, like that can only be a positive for them.
I guess in short to your original question, if I remember what it was, because it was so long ago that you asked it,
Yeah, sorry about that.
was do the Yankees scare me in general right now? Sure they do, because so many things are clicking for them. Do I think it'll last? No, because I feel like what you're getting right now with the players you currently have, because like you said, some guys are coming back. You're getting the capability. You're seeing what could happen when everyone's kind of clicking on all cylinders right now, and they're not going to keep this up the entire time. I'm sorry, but it's definitely working for a good stretch, and this is the type of thing you hope happens later in the season when you're in the postseason if you're the Yankees. As for when they get these players back, depends on the type of player. I'm not a huge Jazz Chisholm fan. I think he's a cocky asshole. and I have no faith that I don't trust. I mean, he might go through a stretch where he finds his swagger and he'll hit 10 home runs in like a month or something. But like, I feel like he's way too unpredictable, and so he's not someone I would bank on. And even with Stanton returning, what are you going to do with him? Rice is your DH right now, like, and he's doing pretty darn good. And Stanton has not been consistent during the regular season. And the postseason has been a different story. So, I mean, I'm not even sold I would want Stanton to play every day. I wouldn't want to necessarily take Rice out. And maybe it just becomes a platoon situation. Heel will be the one that does be a pretty significant impact to the rotation. Though, of course, coming off of an injury now, you face the possibility of some type of a sophomore slump situation. But the Yankees are also thriving from the fact that in their division, everyone is mediocre right now, and the Orioles are worse than that, unfortunately, for John. So
Eh,
That
even
was
if the Yankees were to
unnecessary.
slip a bit right
eh.
now, I mean, I could have said worse, but I held back. But I mean, right now, everyone in that division is a 500 team for the most part. So, like, even if the Yankees slip a bit, no one in their division seems like they're gonna take it from them. So, um, something crazy needs to happen in the middle of the summer for things to shift. I think the Yankees are gonna not be. I mean, they're always gonna be big on the home run front. That's the case every year. It's part of the factor of just being in that ballpark. But the pitching is what I expect will eventually slide a little bit. But as long as they still have good production from Judge and they can get some power numbers, some guys they're not expecting, then I think there's every reason to at least expect the Yankees to be a powerhouse for most of the season. Postseason comes, we'll reevaluate then.
I never want to make fun of injuries, but
Do it.
like still no, like still like when you look at Stanton, just the fact that it says torn tendons in both elbows, something about that's like like funny to me. It's like, how did you do it on both elbows? Like it's and like we were
Didn't
talking
he
about this.
somewhat blame the torpedo bat?
He did
Yeah, he
blame the
did.
torpedo
Yeah,
bat.
yeah. Um, you know, it, I think them getting reinforcements. The other thing too is like if they're I mean they're always going to be in a position to do this. They're the Yankees, but come the trade deadline, when they're looking to add, like if they're still getting production from guys like Goldschmidt and Rice, and then you add somebody else in to pair with, of course, the production you're getting for Judge, like I think this team really can continue to go up. The one negative I want to talk about, because I think it can have implications, is the
Bring the
bullpen.
hate to Tyler. Bring the
But
hate.
what is the bullpen? Not really the bullpen, but just Devin Williams. I don't know what happened to this guy. He is a shell of himself. For somebody who was one of the best bullpen arms in baseball just a couple years ago, he is really uh, finding it hard to find his footing right now in New York. 6.75 ERA. Luke Weaver, of course, as you mentioned earlier, Will, has really stepped up and he's taken the role of closer with his insane stats this year. But we know it all the time in the most crucial times, especially postseason, but even in high leverage games in the regular season, a lot of the times it comes down to the bullpen, and you need more than one elite arm in there. If Weaver continues to be as good as he's been, that's one thing, but Williams needs to figure it out very, very quickly. So I guess my question to you guys is this a concern for you in the long haul for the Yankees? Like, is this something that's eventually going to come to bite them in the ass, having a guy like him in there? Because they're going to try to rely on him, but he's just not performing to his standard. John, I can go to you first on this one.
Oh, I'm glad you did because I was going to blurt out and say yes. I do wonder if the reason being is because he did come from a small market of Milwaukee to then go to New York, and New York just sometimes isn't for everybody, you know? So the
Yeah, just
reality
say that
is
to Joey Gallo.
the lights are brighter, the media is harsher, you know, whatever adage you want to use for New York, and then the pressure of pitching for the New York Yankees in general. Uh, maybe it's getting to him. Maybe it's just something he has
Maybe it's
to.
Maybelline.
Thanks, Bobby. Um, maybe it's just something that is just it's just a crux a crutch for him. He
Kruk,
has
John Kruk.
Malachi.
it's just something he's going to struggle with is maybe pitching in New York, coming from a small market. I do think that it really can get in the head of some guys, especially as a reliever, as a relief pitcher, or just a pitcher in general. If you have one bad outing in New York, it's really easy for the boo birds to come out. So you gotta, keep that in mind.
I mean, not for nothing too. He was also facing a lot of criticism because of how his stint ended with Milwaukee and the playoff collapses that were on his hands. So there might be something to that. But well, I mean, this is a guy that just doesn't have the stuff that he once had, or at least is not fooling hitters like it once was. And again, you can look at throughout that bullpen outside of Weaver, they have had good performances. Fernando Cruz has been really good. Mark Leiter Jr. has been good for them. But I still feel like for the Yankees, they need that another big name, big arm in the bullpen when it's in crunch time.
I think what could be an interesting thing for the Yankees is if they really want to have or bring in a significant change prior to a final push in the regular season, Devin Williams could be your interesting trade chip because he's really a wild card to me right now. Either he'll work things out and he'll be the relief pitcher they want him to be, in which case, great, you're golden. They'll spend for someone that's more of a low risk, high reward, I imagine, type of guy. But if you got Weaver and Williams pitching really well, then you feel great. If Williams continues to not really be peak Devin Williams, there's going to be a team that is kind of on that playoff bubble that would say, you know what, change of scenery might do good and we can get him a little cheaper because he's not doing as well. But being the type of effective closer he has been in previous seasons, he's still going to bring in an interesting haul. I'm not going to say it's going to be this groundbreaking thing because you got 2 months, basically. It's a rental. But he can still have a huge impact. And that could be the type of guy where you make a trade with another club that's maybe on the verge and you can bring in either, if you want to bring in someone to help in the lineup, maybe like third base or something, or they get someone that's more of a couple pieces to help with bullpen depth. It's even the type of thing that you could see a 3-team trade happening so that they can get some players. But Devin Williams is really the answer for the Yankees because he'll be the guy that they want him to be, or he'll be the piece that they can move and then bring in extra guys to help round out the bullpen.
Yeah, I just feel like again when crunch time happens, it's a lot of the times it's on the bullpen, and if he doesn't have his best stuff, for this season, like it's really going to hurt them. I would imagine that they are going to add to the bullpen.
Well, I
There
think
was
it's what's interesting about that is you're trading a bullpen piece that you have to try and get another bullpen piece that you don't necessarily know whether or not they're going to pan out. Whereas with Williams, either he's like Will said, it's either he's going to figure it out or you're going to have to trade him.
yeah.
And the fact that we're having this conversation, he just got there too, is ridiculous to me. But
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's the fact that, and it sucks for the Yankees. At least Weaver's been good for them, but for Yankees fans, like, man, our closer has been our kryptonite for so long, and oh my
Hey, you
God,
want to listen to the Phillies game on my phone?
we got our.
Wrong button.
I didn't even hear anything. So, we finally got this elite closer, blah blah blah, this and that, and he comes in and he's awful. Like it sucks for them.
I mean, his
They
issue.
had the elite closer the whole time.
They did.
My whole thing is that he's given up 19 hits, 1 home run. Honestly, the killer for him right now is the walks.
Yeah.
He has 12 walks. You really can't be doing that as a relief pitcher in key situations.
I think it's just insane. And look, every team has them, and you can say who it is after I go for this for the Phillies. But a guy comes in out of the bullpen, and you're like, well, I know that at least they're getting 1 or 2 runs at least, and that's crazy to think of that for like
that
Devin
guy's
Williams
pitching right now for the Phillies.
Yeah, I okay, yeah, exactly.
I'm not going to say anything on my
look,
front.
Because it's everyone
but
on the Orioles.
it's just crazy that like that's Williams right now. So he's got to figure it out. Lastly, before we wrap up, we were kind of this is why I was asking this question pre-show, but we were talking about the greatest seasons ever as a hitter. And look, I know Aaron Judge is a long ways away, and there's a lot of season left, but I mean, this season that he's having, he's on pace for some astronomical numbers. Will, I know you know, we're like, oh yeah, it's Barry Bonds, like 100%, like the season he had in 2001.
We'll pick 3 seasons. They all work.
Or any of them. But like outside, I mean, and this is maybe a loaded question, but like outside of the steroid users, like this might be one of the greatest seasons of all time right now. And if it keeps up, it's it's unbelievable. Like, and even looking at Yankees, we were looking at like Babe Ruth's 1920 season. He batted like 376, I think. Had like a 500 on base percentage, but I mean, God, Ron Washington has figured it out. Like he intentionally walked him twice the last week, and like it's almost like Bond treatment, man. Like we
He
don't
might
want him to
get it.
hurt us. I
I
like
mean,
yeah, and we talked about that, right? It was like, man, he doesn't have Soto there, so it's like it's really just him. Now, of course, other players have stepped up for the Yankees, but like that was kind of the thing where it's like, oh, that's gonna suck because they can kind of work around him now. But he's found a way to continue to be successful. And it's really this week was the first time I think he dropped below a 400 average. Like, where are we ranking this season as a whole? Like, with again a lot of
I'll
time
let
left.
you know in
But
October.
yeah,
That's
I
gonna be
guess
my
that's something
answer.
to
I'm gonna
talk
let you
about.
know in October because if he gets hurt, this could be all for naught.
Yeah,
Honestly,
I mean it's sure there's a lot of time left, but like I guess in comparison to, or at least if you're looking what he's on pace for, it's like, man, dude, like this is one of the most dominant offensive seasons that we have ever seen in at least recent MLB history. Again, excluding like the steroid users and stuff like that, and especially with how dominant, you know, pitching is now. It's truly remarkable what he's doing, and he's been able to do, and there is no better hitter on planet Earth than Aaron Judge. I will say that. What?
I think there's somebody out in LA that might
n-
fight you.
Nah,
Mm,
there's nobody
I
better
don't
this
than Aaron
disagree
season
with
right
Judge.
you.
now, Judge is
I
better.
don't disagree with you. I'm just saying there's gonna be
All right, LA
somebody.
fans go hate.
Yeah, there's gonna be
Yeah.
But
somebody from LA that's gonna go, whoa, whoa, whoa,
Well,
whoa.
here's why Otani
Otoni.
Otani is better. Sorry, Otani is better. Does he get a graphic from Fox Sports saying that he's 2 batters away?
look,
I've never
Otani
seen one for Aaron Judge.
Otani might be the better player overall just because he steals bases and he pitches. But talking about pure batting, there is no better batter in the world than Aaron Judge,
I
like
hate I
hands
hate
down.
the I hate the overall argument. It's like the people who argue about LeBron and MJ and they're like, well, who was the better overall player? Shut up, bro.
I
I
mean,
think Otani
well,
because he
no,
pitches
that's a valid answer.
I mean, if
No,
you're
well,
if you,
it's a valid answer, but you have to back that up. Stop trying to say overall as if it's like, oh, well, you take like everything.
Shohei
Well,
Ohtani, hold on. Shohei is going to go down as probably the greatest baseball player of all time. Meanwhile, Aaron Judge is going to go down
as the
he
greatest
could.
batter of all time.
Yeah, he could go down as the greatest batter of all time. I mean, though, to be fair, should we really be shocked about this? The man is what, 6'7"? Like,
Yeah. Hey, he's got a lot of zone to
he's a walking
cover.
tree.
He's got a lot of zone to cover.
Hold on, I don't mean to open this bag of worms, but I'm actually going to do that. You talk about the baseball player of all time. I mean, yes, the fact that he can pitch and bat the way he does is obviously remarkable, but at the same time, it's not like he's a defender either. I mean, Judge is a part of the conversation because
wait a minute, hold on. Are you saying pitchers are not defenders?
That's not at all what I said.
What?
It's not.
Oh,
that's
what
not
did
at
you
all
just
what I
say?
said.
It's like you're comparing apples and oranges. That's why I'm saying like you have to look
Is
at
the pitcher
batting.
the same as a
Because
shortstop?
but
No.
but we're talking about like we've never seen somebody do what Otani's done, where he's been the best, one of the best players
Yes.
batting and pitching. So I think because of that, you would have to say overall he's a better player. But if you're only talking about batting one for one, Aaron Judge is the better hitter. That's my argument.
All
Like,
right, hold on a second here.
I know, like, the
I
overall
just
thing,
want to
but
compare stats.
but I'm
I
saying like
just
apples
want
and
to see
oranges.
Otani's stats real quick.
Otani has more home runs, but there's
And
nobody
more
there's.
stolen bases for sure.
This
But that's what I'm
season.
saying. Like there's so much more dynamic to baseball. That's why I'm saying overall.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But
I was
I'm
gonna say
talking about hit. I'm
overall.
talking about doing the hardest thing to do in all of sports, hitting a baseball.
Yeah, a baseball from a major
Aaron
league pitcher.
Judge is the best to do it. That's what I'm arguing. And
Right now,
The
he
best to
certainly
hit a
is. I don't think it's
baseball is
argument.
Tony Gwynn because he can hit over
Oh
300.
my
I was about to say,
God.
wait a minute. Yeah, if we want
Here
some of the
we
best
go.
hitter,
yeah, I want to see Tony Gwynn hit 60 in a season, 60 home runs in a
I
season.
don't need to. I'll just never see him strike out. That's fine.
I want to see Tony Gwynn see 102. Like, come on now. Come on,
He'd
different
still hit.
eras.
Listen,
I was about
I
to
just
say, wait a minute.
watched
What
Luke
do you
Williams
mean?
hit
He
a
faced
blooper
Nolan
100.
Ryan.
Fine.
He
All
faced
right,
Randy and Pedro
102
and Ryan. He's fine.
102 consistently every night. No, I don't know.
Every
Regardless,
Oh, if he
regardless.
saw it every night, it would get even better.
I was about to say, are you telling me Tony
Exposure,
Gwynn
baby.
can't hit a fastball?
Honestly, Tony Gwynn saying
A
102.
100-mile-an-hour fastball. Hold on, not every fastball is the same.
Bro,
Tony
are you kidding
Gwynn
me
saying
right
102.
now?
He might have gotten more home runs if he's seen 102 every night. He
Does
just
every
has to
pitcher
barely
throw the
make
same
contact.
fastball?
I really am willing to bet he probably would.
I want him to face us. I want him to face Will's favorite pitch, the 97-mile-per-hour slinker.
Wrap it up now. I'm done.
That is all for us here, Yankees fans. You're having it good right now. I applaud you. I wish I could say the same. You are not getting Paul Skeens. Fuck you. That is all for.
I hope your season crashes and burns because I'm
there
an
it is.
Orioles fan and I do not support this episode. I was held here against my will. Please help me.
That is all for us at Big League Breakdowns. You can follow us on Twitter at BL_breakdowns. Big League Breakdowns everywhere else. Make sure to like the video if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel for more baseball content, and we will see you next time.
Wear your seatbelt, Yankees fans, because if Judge gets hurt, you're screwed.
Over. Done.